Roman blinds installation. We'll go on that window. I've already done 2 other windows. This is how they look installed. I set them in about 1/2 inch from the front edge of the window of the reveal. Basically this chain sits behind it, so once it's fully down you don't see the chain. Now with these brackets, with these blinds, with the brackets, so they're spring loaded, and the way that clips in, that springy bit of plastic goes in first, and then you push the blind on it, just watch that now, and sits behind. Removal, same thing, you push against it and then you lift off. Now that bracket will have to go up that way, so it's got back fixing plate if you're going to fix it in front of the wall, or it's got that screw hole on the top fixing plate if you want to fix it up in the ceiling. Now, to have that offset same as in the front bedroom, I spaced the bracket 20 millimeters from the front edge and then fix it up into the lintel. Now, I'm lucky here because my lintels are timber, so I'm just using normal wood screws. If you have a concrete lintels, you will have to drill them and plug them, or maybe perhaps get a builder to drill and plug in a wooden button across the top, paint it same color as the wall, and then you can just screw these brackets into that wooden button. That would be a quite good idea to do. So first thing first, I measured that the gap between that hole and inside of this edge here at 20 millimeters, so I'm using bracket for spacing. So I'm just putting bracket in against the window reveal and marking up with a point. I'm using 3 brackets here, so 1 on each end and 1 in the middle, and ones are about 3 to 4 inches from the end. And then turning the bracket the way it's going to sit up, just marking up that center hole of my spacing mark. So now I can use screws. Always use big enough screws for the job. Don't worry about what is being supplied, because they just have to supply some sort of fixings. Because we got timber lintels here and some plasterboard underneath. Lintel is about a couple of inches above this point of plaster, so I'm using 3-inch screws, or 5 by 80 in metric. And then on my marks, now I always found it easier to clip it on if you don't wind the screws tight up. Just take a 1/4 turn of screw back, just so the bracket has a little wobble. Because your bracket is tight and slightly misaligned, you will not be able to clip that blind on. So having a bracket slightly wobbly will allow it for self-alignment during clipping on. So don't drive it home, just leave it a little bit slacky. So now we take our blind and we will clip the front edge of the rail onto that springy plastic bit first. So we're going to clip it on like that and then push the back end in, push the entire rail outwards until it clips on the back hooks. And you have to treat brackets as one by one individually. So put pressure on one. Yeah, this on. That one is done. And the last one. One steps. And that's it. And we can just remove all this packaging of the chain. Does come this little loop that you can fix on the side, but I prefer to leave that to customer to decide do they want that or not. So I'm just going to remove all this packaging, place it on the windowsill for reference, and see if they want these chain hooks fitted or not. That's it. This chain discreetly sits behind the blind. And there we go.